Not that guerrilla warfare marketing.
I'm here with my good new friend, Ben, the humble wholesaler.
Humble.
I am the humble, wholesaler. I get the deals done, the deals is wholesaling.
I've bought and sold over 105 houses in the last 5 years.
In the last 3 months, I've done $82,000 in wholesale fees. Is that all right? Preach!
Ben's built out a massive mortgage business that actually generates $29,000 a month in truly passive income.
Completely passive. Realized early on when I had a few rental properties that there was nothing passive about it. The mistakes when asking for money. I'm a private lender. We lend money all the time. So I'm going to let you into my brain. What do I want to see as a private lender? What do I want to look at? And how do I evaluate your deal? Because most private lenders, when you submit a deal and it's poopy like this, they're not even going to look at it.
What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and we've got a really special video for you guys today. Another compilation video, and today it's with the humble wholesaler, the humble CEO, Ben Meerson. You guys know him. He's been on the channel actually for quite a while though, so if you're new to my journey or Ben's journey, you might really just think of us as partners on Cashflow Tribe, but our relationship extends a lot further than that. And seeing how we just recently did our compilation videos with Casey Wong, and those were so much fun to make, we thought, who else should we go really revisit and just unearth all the amazing footage we have from the past several years of these amazing Canadian real estate investors. So I'm really excited for today's video. Ben's a business partner of mine. We spend a lot of time together these days. We've grown what I consider to be a very successful business that I'm very proud of, Cashflow Tribe, which, by the way, if you guys haven't grabbed a free account at Cashflow Tribe, we'll throw a link in the video description down below. Canada's fastest growing, best. It's literally what I wish 25-year-old Matt had. So it's like I'm going in a time machine 10 years back and just trying to pay it forward to a previous version of myself. So I hope you guys enjoy Cashflow Tribe, but even more importantly today, I hope you enjoy just this compilation video with Ben. It's so much fun just to kind of go down, you know, the rabbit hole of memory lane on these compilation videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed as much as we do. Jump in the comment section and let us know who else should we be making a compilation video of, and maybe you'll see them next on my YouTube channel. Curious that we can kind of focus on helping him, and then hopefully he can help us with the conference as well.
What's going on?
Hey man.
Another day. Fruitful Investors here in Livo. What's the plan for today?
So we're going to be driving down to Windsor. We're going to be seeing Ben from Forte Real Estate in Windsor. He's bought 105 properties in the last 5 years. He's got about 70 private mortgages. And up until like 3 weeks ago, he'd been completely ignoring social media. He went to one of Grant Cardone's conferences, decided kind of a switch was flipped for him that he needed to go all in on social media. So we're going to go and check him out.
So off to Windsor.
Windsor. Let's go. Small list of people who get the call right off the bat. What I like to do is put you guys into that mix and give you first dibs, because if we can keep it in the family, right? Sure. The family.
We always talk.
Hey, Gene, no, I keep it in the family. Definitely. I think it'll be helpful. We'll keep this kind of off the radar for now. Hey guys, it's Ben Meerson here with Forte Real Estate in Windsor, Ontario. Just want to let you know a little bit about me. So I've bought and sold over 105 houses in the last 5 years. And I've got 72 mortgage clients as well. So I've been in this business for 11 years now. I've done a ton of deals. Our company is actually the largest buyer and seller of single family homes in Windsor. Now, I think everyone should be investing in Windsor, Ontario for a few reasons. The cost of rental properties and the cost of properties in general here are a steal. You can get a fully renovated property that produces at least an 8 or a 10 cap for under $150,000, which I know sounds like nothing compared to the rest of Canada, but Windsor really is Canada's best kept secret. So if you're not buying in Windsor, you need to get involved. So that's me. I'm going to be happy to meet with you, shake your hand, and I look forward to helping each one of you guys grow your real estate portfolio. Have a great day.
So we're down here, across from Detroit. What did we just do here, guys?
We were just shooting a couple YouTube videos promoting OREC 2018 with the humble wholesaler, the fruitful investor, and you guys know Jeff Weibel.
It's $1 million ideas that just got
We literally just hashed out some amazing ideas here.
The awesome thing is, literally all of us are trying to find private deals. Every single one of us has a slightly different approach, and that's what we were chatting about. And that's what the chats at OREC 2018 are going to be about. Real people taking real action, getting real results. What is up, you guys? Matt McKeever here, and I'm here with my good new friend, Ben, the humble wholesaler.
Humble.
And so Humble was just telling me that he's done 105 deals. 105.
Yes, sir.
105.
105.
105 deals in Windsor, Ontario, and 105 is a lot, guys. I'm not sure if you realize it, that it's like way more than the fingers you got. So I asked him, show me these deals. And he's got a map up for us right now of what looks like 105 pins.
Listen, I know you don't believe me. Why don't you just pick a deal and I'll literally tell you how I did it.
Any deal.
Any
I can
deal.
pick any deal.
Pick any deal.
You know all your deals.
Every one of them.
He knows all his deals, guys. So let's figure one out. Let's pick it out right now on the big screen. All right, so here's Humble's map of all the deals he's done in Windsor, Ontario. Got the airport there. And Humble said I can pick any deal, and he'll walk us through the numbers on this one, guys. So kind of feeling, this looks pretty jumbled. I can't really see what's going on there. Let's go with this one, this blue one, Humble.
You want me to tell you how I did that deal?
I want to hear about this deal.
Man, ye of little faith, Humble will teach you the way.
Yeah.
Have a seat, man. Let me show you what's up. Here, hold these. Okay, guys, let's talk about Gladstone. This is how I did this wholesale deal. So, as you know by now, I'm the humble wholesaler. So in this wholesale deal, Gladstone, let me tell you how I made this happen. Now, I'm not going to talk too fast, but at OREC 2018, you're going to learn exactly how this works. So step one, so that's going to be $28,000. I paid a realtor, which was about $4,000. So I ended up with a very, very, very humble profit of about $24,000 in about 3.5 hours.
All right, guys. Well, I was actually doubtful of Humble, but after I started seeing how humble he is with his numbers, he's far too humble, in fact, because this is only $950, right, from our $1,500. So we got $550.
And for this
talk about humble.
For this reason, I hired a CPA. But you're absolutely right. The math is wrong, but the idea is right. So we're able to lock it in, get it under contract, wholesale it to the next guy. Gave him a ton of value because now he's able to buy, a property that's probably 15-20% under fair market value, very respectably speaking.
Yeah.
He got it rented back out, and now we're moving on to the next one. So.
Yeah, and so like for my audience, I do know that you guys, we all love the 1% rule. So this fits perfectly within that 1% rule. So. It actually, that exactly fits the business metrics or business model I use these days, so well done, Humble.
So humbly, I left $200 on the table per month, but you know what? Here's your first month, my friend. Now we're even. What's going on, man? OREC 2018.
up, man. Come on, we're talking about hustle wholesale. I am the humble, wholesaler. I'm getting the deals done, no joke, just wholesaling. I grind every day, closing and getting paid. I always stay humble, help the sellers every day. I am the humble, wholesaler. I'm getting the deals done, no joke, just wholesaling. I grind every day, closing and getting paid. I always stay humble, help the sellers every day. You'll get the deals, come on. Yeah, you'll get the deals. Am I right? Skills get the deals. Come on, OREC. Throw it up, y'all. Skills get the. Come on now. Come on. We're trying to get paid, son. All right. Thank you. You guys rock, man. Come on now. Let's keep it up. Listen, guys. This ain't even a real me. I know you guys are all confused. I'm just Ben Meerson, man, okay? I'm doing this for one reason, commitment, right? I committed to something. I met Chris at 10X GrowthCon, and this dude changed the way I looked at things, right? So I went in there, I had already done 100 deals, and Chris said, you need this, 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 and this. Who got a mentor in here? Anybody? You need one, I'm telling you. Who got $10? Show me, who got $10? You got $10? You right there. Come up here. Come on. They sit down, I don't need you. Who got $10? You got $10? Come on. Not that. I want real $10. Who got it? Come on, man. Get up here. You got $10? This right here is commitment. He doesn't even know what I'm going to ask him. Let me see that money, man. That's commitment right there. When you invest in yourself, son, you get paid in dividends. Thank you. I appreciate your commitment. All right? Thank you very much. Who got $100? Yeah, you all got $100. Am I right? Let's see who's going to commit to that. Anybody? I'll commit to that. You doing it? You doing it? Who's the first? You raise your hand first? Get your ass up here, man. Come on. What's your name? Dude, aren't you already rich, man? You want more money?
I love money.
That's good. Give it up for Mike. Mike, thank you for committing. I was going to give you more, but you are rich. You get 10. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Right? That's like 12% of your ticket address. You good? My point is this, guys. When you commit to something, you go on both feet. And this ain't a gimmick. This ain't a fad. This ain't anything. I committed to Chris. And that's why I committed my wholesale business. In the last 3 months, I've done $82,000 in wholesale fees. Is that all right? Preach! That's it. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let Chris do the talking. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming, OREC. Keep it humble. Come get a picture with your boy. All right? Hello, 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 hello. Are you all awake? Who wants to make some money today? Anybody? Over here? All right, let me get your loudest humble. I don't know, these guys both stood up. What do we do? Oh, we got 3. Should we rip it in half? Oh, it's Canadian, doesn't work that way. My name is Ben Meerson, and I'm going to show you guys how to actually create money today. Is that cool? I'm the oldest of 9 children, guys, okay? Married my wife 10 years ago. We're looking to create a better life for ourselves, right? We come from a communist country. We fled before the dictator was decapitated, right? And my parents took big risks, so we wanted to create something better for our lives and our families going forward. So my wife was working a corporate job. She got a master's degree, okay? And master's degree, good-looking, hot Romanian girl, like she was the whole package. Am I right? Fellas, you know what I'm talking about? I mean, I was a musician growing up. I wanted to play in rock bands and do all this cool stuff, right? And I got to university, and I took some courses, and I realized, man, I don't want to teach a bunch of bratty little kids. I am a bratty little kid. How's that going to work? So I dropped out to start a business. I was like many of you guys, you start a business? Any business owners? Yeah? Okay, awesome. I started the most luxurious, beautiful kind of business you can start. Carpet cleaning and janitorial services. All right? When I walk around here and see some stains, I get excited. I'm like, I get that out. That's polymer. That's not hard. Right? I scrubbed floors, I cleaned carpets, I did all that kind of stuff, commercial jobs, right? Why? Because I wanted to what? Get ahead. So at that time, I read a book that maybe you guys have read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I bought every course, every seminar. I would come up here for Carlton Sheets, Russ Whitney. Anybody know those names, right? I wanted to learn this stuff. There's nobody to teach me. So I was cleaning carpets in the evenings, so that's when all the jobs are. I'd come home at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning from Sarnia, London, wherever. And then during the day, I tried to learn about real estate, right? I was excited. So I wanted that mailbox money. You guys know what I'm talking about by mailbox money? No? You never heard that term? When you become a landlord, they tell you that there's this mailbox money. On the first of every month, you just sit back on your couch, relax. The first of every month, you get all this money in your mailbox you don't have to do anything for. I was like, man, that sounds pretty good. I could do that. Anybody do that? Anybody think they can do that? Well, here's the deal. I went to a Rich Dad program, and unfortunately, I probably wasn't ready for it. So I take full accountability for my actions. Anybody else with me? Problem is, I was 23 years old. I convinced my wife that we had to buy this thing. It was $25,000 US. Hook, line, sinker. Pulled the credit card out. Not only did I pull my credit card out, but I pulled my mother-in-law's credit card out because she had a bigger limit than I did. So I used that too. I bought it, and guess what I did? I spent the next 2 years paying it off. Whose fault was it? Rich Dad's or mine? I don't know. I'm not blaming them. I take accountability. Anybody like taking accountability for stuff? Yeah, I tried trading stocks for a while. I got a certificate in spread trading and adjustment. I lost about 40 grand in one day. That was cool. Thanks, Apple. I don't even know why I have this stupid iPad. Okay? So I did all that, right? Because I wanted this cash flow that we all thought was going to happen. We were super frugal, pinching pennies, right? Fractions of pennies. We were the original fire people, right? We were fire, back then it was called flame. Okay? Any fire people in the house? Okay, so we had this philosophy, which still works today. We basically lived off one paycheck and we spent one paycheck. Super complicated. You don't want to do it, all right? We lived in a duplex. Every Saturday morning, the kids upstairs would run their Hot Wheels on my hardwood floors, and it was amazing, okay? We drove old beater cars. We did all that stuff, and we saved our way. Well, 500 grand, 600 grand. We wanted to hack something. So we bought 15 properties. We started taking action. I managed them myself. I watched a lot of HGTV back then. Anybody watches HGTV? Yeah, all the time. They make it look super easy, right? So, but I realized after doing this, I had basically exchanged one job for another. I went from carpet cleaning, right, to landlording. This wasn't that exciting. It was just another job. So that mailbox money for me was a myth. And it just seemed like it would take me forever to finally get ahead. So I spent money, all these lessons, but guess what? Here's the good news. One day I finally had an epiphany. And you know what it was? I was doing it all wrong. I was like, there's no way that this is the goal and this is the dream. But everybody I was following back then, that's what they were doing. So what did I do? Copycat. Anybody like to copy other people? Yeah, sometimes? So I wanted to start from scratch. I had to figure out a different solution for my problem. I wanted to get away from the status quo. So I literally stopped looking at what everybody else was doing around me, and I thought, who is out there that is smarter than me, that has a better plan than me that I can follow? Okay? Anybody ever asked that question? There's got to be a better way? Yeah, you back there? Cool. Because guys, the people I was following just didn't have much more than I did. You ever get with your buddies in the fire community? It's like, man, one day I'm going to have a Lambo. I'm like, bro, you can't afford milk. How are you going to roll with a Lambo? You going to pick up your girl with a gallon? It doesn't work that way. So I wanted to pursue other people who had these things. So I started looking. I had to go to the U.S., try to find mentors, try to find stuff. And good news is 9 years later, I finally achieved some level of success. 9 years it took me, guys. So the only difference between you and me is, guess what? 9 years, that's it. And you guys can do it a lot less. But I finally achieved success by a lot of real estate standards. So what does that look like? My company today, Forte Real Estate, we're the largest money lender in Windsor, Essex County. You guys know where that is? That's a little ugly spot across from Detroit River. You guys ever seen it? We purchased 185 residential properties, and we've sold $30 million worth of flips. Pretty cool, right? So that's what we've done in the last 5 years. We finally achieved what I call the mailbox money. Because today we finally have, my wife and I, $400,000 a year in passive mortgage money. And that for me is mailbox, okay? No landlording, no tenants, no toilets, nothing. I'm the bank, baby. All right? You ever call your bank when your toilet clogs? Hell no. What do? Get the plunger, son. Okay? So today I'm very blessed, very fortunate to be with you guys. I finally achieved a multi-million-dollar net worth, and I'm very excited to be that. Guys, I want to leave you with a couple things. Number one, you guys have the ability to create millions of dollars. I promise you, it's not that hard. Anybody trying to overcomplicate this, it's just feeding you a line, okay? Here's what I want you to think about.
At the start of 2016, 4 years ago, I literally was a ghost on social media. Back in 2016, no one knew who I was. No one other than maybe my parents and best friends knew I was a real estate investor.
In my real estate business now, I legit only sell on social media. I do not sell anything else. I don't care about a sign. I don't print off any pieces of paper and hand it to you. Only social media. I've built my entire real estate agent business off social media.
Over the course of one single Instagram live video where I was walking through a property, I was actually able to raise $80,000.
Today, 4,000 to 5,000 people watch me every single day on YouTube. 1,000 people will watch my stories on Instagram. You know, over 500 will watch my stories on Facebook. I just envision that as, how could I possibly talk to 5,000 people a day one-on-one?
People lend me money for my real estate investments. If you didn't know, myself and Matt McKeever are in the apartment buying business right now, and we're buying a lot of units. So people lend us money for renovations, for deposits, and we pay interest on that. And I often share the interest payments on Instagram, which leads to more people reaching out to me wondering how they can get involved. And because of that, I was able to raise almost $1 million within the last 90 days.
Basically taking this business from zero to now we've done over $1.4 million in sales this year, and it's all been through social media. I've been actually able to attract all 6 of my top performing wholesalers and my back of house staff through social media, okay? All of it has been done through there and by showing the process.
The printing press, tele and radio communications, the internet, and then social media. These are the 4 big media revolutions that just changed the game as we know it. And right now, I'm in a giant land grab to try and get my hands on as much of the social media attention world as possible.
If you guys are not on social media, you have to do it. I don't care if you're a restaurant, you're an insurance agent, you're a real estate agent, you need to be on social media. It's the easiest way to branch out and talk to so many people.
If there was only one thing I could tell you guys, the one thing I would tell you is start today. Okay, yesterday was the best time to start. In fact, when you first even thought about your business idea, that was the best time to start. But the next best time is right now. If you start posting and start publishing your story today, I guarantee you, you will have results from social media so long as you stay consistent. So come and get your social proof.
When a lot of people think about real estate investing, they naturally think about just being the investor, the landlord, the property manager. But you've actually kind of approached it a little bit differently, Ben, with your mortgage business, right?
Definitely.
So you guys heard it at the top of the video, but Ben's built out a massive mortgage business that actually generates $29,000 a month and truly passive income.
Completely passive.
So let's chat about, where should we even start when we're talking about private mortgages?
Maybe why private mortgages instead of rentals, or maybe why the decision to go down that path.
So why is that, Ben?
Great question, Matt. So here's the answer. I truly wanted a passive business, and I realized early on when I had a few rental properties that there was nothing passive about it.
Yeah.
Right? Let's call it what it is. We hire a property manager, but their job is to collect the rents, grow their own business, and then take care of your property. So it's really not their problem if the roof goes or this goes or that goes. And what happened was I was managing my properties and I realized that I couldn't scale that quickly. And I had about 15, 20 doors and I was managing them myself. And I said, how do I scale this without having to build a massive team, without having to hire a manager who may or may not do the job that I want them to do?
Yeah.
And I looked at the mortgage model, which really didn't exist. I kind of created it. So I took a combination of the BRRRR strategy. I took 3 or 4 different strategies and put them together. And I said, is there a way that I can create a truly passive business through this mortgage concept? And I did. And at the end of the day, it created a really awesome business for my wife and I that I spent about 15 minutes a month double checking the payments, and that's it.
I love it. So I've got a lot of different questions. I think the first one I'd like to focus on is, how did you initially break into the mortgage game? So were you literally just providing mortgages for people? Were you providing them like a turnkey property and providing financing? What did that all look like?
So let me give you the background. So basically I was a landlord, and I had these great tenants living in the properties, and I would approach them every once in a while and say, hey, you're nice people, why don't you own a home? So it was out of my curiosity. And they would tell me that they couldn't get bank financing, they didn't know how to look, they didn't have a down payment, a whole host of things. And I said, okay. And I started thinking, and for months I just kept putting this question in my head: how do I help people get into the mortgage space? I thought, if there's a way I could do that, maybe I could create some passive income for myself. So after thinking about that, I finally thought, why don't I do a vendor take-back mortgage and become a lender on the deals that I already own? Those are easy because I already own those properties, they're already renovated, they're already rented. So as my tenants started moving out, which didn't happen very often because I had long-term tenancies, but as they started moving out, before I put the property in MLS, I thought, can I sell this myself and find some way to do a vendor take-back mortgage? So my very first deal I bought for $45,000. It was a cheap little house, and I invested about $45,000 into the rehab. So I had $90,000 into this property. It was worth about $120,000. So I had this equity in the property, and I thought I could take, you know, the 20, 25 grand today, depending on what the sale price was, or I could take it over the course of the next 5 years if I was willing, able to give it back in the form of a mortgage. So what I did was I looked at the option of doing that business, and I said, okay, well, first of all, for me to give mortgages, I have to be able to raise all this capital. I had all these limiting beliefs about mortgages. Then I realized, hey, I can just OPM the other side of the business. So what I did was I had this property, I put it up for sale for $120,000 with a vendor take-back mortgage. I had a lady who showed up and said, I like the property, I like to buy the property, I can't get conventional bank financing, I've been renting for about $1,200 a month, and after we did the math, it was about $1,250 for her to actually own this property based on the terms and conditions we had. So for $50 more, she could own this property and build equity. And I said, great. So I've solved for one problem, which was the demand for the vendor take-back mortgage. I said, okay, now the next problem is I have to find a way to get it all financed and put together, because I didn't know that world. So I said, okay, 120, I've got 90 into it. I've got a mortgage for 90 because I got 90, you know, I got 100% loan to value on the purchase. So I said, my profit, which is basically that 30 grand, I could give out on a mortgage. I wonder if the person who gave me the initial mortgage would give her a mortgage for 90 now that the property is worth considerably more because I've done the work. Sure enough, they agreed to it. So I basically took the mortgage that I had from this person, I ported it over to the new buyer, I gave the buyer a second mortgage behind them, giving her basically 100% financing, and she had to pay the legals and closing costs, which is approximately $5,000. And that was the very first mortgage deal that we did, and my income was $356.77 on my portion. And as soon as I did the first one and it closed and it was done, I said, wow, this is great. And every month I'd get $356.77, $356.77. I didn't do anything. And I said, if I'm willing to defer my income and I'm willing to not take the gain now, then I can get a gain forever. So it's like cash for life or one lump sum. And I decided to take the cash for life philosophy. Now, there's a lot of discipline that comes from that. There's a lot of delayed gratification that comes from that. So you got to be willing to basically put your life on hold while you build a mortgage portfolio, so that one day you can have a whole bunch of money coming back in on a residual monthly basis. And that's what I did. I did deal one, then deal two. So I started looking for financing partners. I started using a combination of my own cash. I got to a point where I would flip a house, take the profit, and then take that profit and do a mortgage deal with it. So it was just a hybrid of different things, raising capital, doing mortgages, and we got to 88 mortgage deals completed. So we've got several dozen, and now it's literally 15 minutes a month. I check the balance, it's good, came in, done deal.
I love it. So just like creating that hybrid strategy, essentially taking flipping and then also being the bank on the properties you flipped.
Correct.
And I'm assuming there's actually probably some more trust behind financing those deals because you really know that property well, or your team does, because you've renovated it, you've taken it from that, you know, underappreciated asset, brought it up to its fullest best use.
That's right.
And so you know that the quality, the workmanship, that's all there, and the fundamentals, or I guess the bones of the building, are good.
Yeah, here's the secret with private mortgages. You have to control every step of the equation if you want to limit your downside risk.
Yeah.
So I had to control the property by owning it, number one. I had to do the rehab so I knew exactly what kind of shape it was in. I had to do the application on capacity, character, and capital with the person buying the property, so I had to know who the person borrowing was, and I had to set up the financing piece. So because every piece of that puzzle came through me, I was able to control a lot of those variable factors. Where in a lot of cases, when people think of mortgage lending, they have some money, they put it with a broker, the broker finds somebody to park it with, and then you don't really know who that end user is truly, right? And if the property, you know, goes power of sale and the guy doesn't pay, well, now you got to take back a property you don't actually really know.
Yes.
So it's better to control all the variables.
Yeah.
So a good start for people if they want to be in this business is grow a large rental portfolio, and then when you go to sell that portfolio, find somebody who has access to capital, find somebody who's willing to be in the mortgage game, and then instead of selling it out and getting cash, sell it and keep the notes. Hey, what's going on? It's Humble CEO, and today I'm going to talk to you about a really amazing topic that you guys need to learn how to do right. How do we ask for private money? The mistakes when asking for money. Yes, those are poop emojis. So if you're PC and offended by my negative face poop emoji, well then, too bad, then you. Just joking. So how do we ask for money? See, guys, I've done over $22 million of private capital in Canada as of this point, and I know that too many people don't know how to have this conversation. They don't know a process. They don't know what they're doing. So if anything, they just confuse it, they overcomplicate it, and they get analysis paralysis. So I'm a private lender. We lend money all the time. So I'm going to let you into my brain. What do I want to see as a private lender? What do I want to look at? And how do I evaluate your deal? Because most private lenders, when you submit a deal and it's poopy like this, they're not even going to look at it. They're just going to throw it in the garbage and say, peace, and see you later. So I'm going to help walk you through this, and hopefully this will help solve your money problem. So number one, the first thing I want you to realize that you need to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, a private lender does not want to figure out the deal for you. I need to be able to look at your deal and figure out in 5 minutes if it's a good, viable deal. There's only a few key indicators that I want to know. So here's the common mistakes. Do not do this. Do not do what I'm about to tell you, right? Do not write a 6-page documentary about the property, about the deal, and do not tell me how you feel about it. No investor wants to know how you feel. They want to know if it's a good enough deal to fund. So it's all about this thing right here, data over drama, okay? So less equals more. I find that the people who overcomplicate this is because they don't actually have a good deal in place. Right? Okay, so what do I want to know right off the bat? There's two things, risk and reward. Those are the biggest metrics that I want to know as an investor. I want to know how much am I going to make and what is the risk that I'm undertaking by giving you a loan on this property. Okay, so right off the bat, I want to know what is my ROI. If you can't articulate what my return on investment is, I am not interested. I got to know what I make if you want my money. So make me an offer here, right off the bat. If you want to put a picture of your house right here, it's probably a poopy house because it needs some work, okay? What's my ROI? So you need to put right here. Oh, you don't know. You don't know what to put. Well, let me tell you. There's two different types of lenders, private and hard money lenders, right? If you want a private mortgage that typically comes from a pre-existing relationship, or you need to do a lot of work to find a lot of private people, right? Private mortgage money goes from 8 to 12%. If you're coming in cold and you're asking me for 8 to 12, you're probably not getting it. And the reason is because most private lenders live in what we call the spread, right? Which means we borrow at this price and we lend at this price. This is the spread. So we need to make money just like you need to make money. Does that make sense? So if I have to borrow, let's say I'm borrowing this capital at 8 to 12, I got to lend it out for more. So if you're coming into an ROI, you need to go 12 to 25. Start there. Right off the bat, say, hey, I'm giving you 20% Okay, now you got my attention, right? Because the first thing I want to know is how much do I make? Boom, 20% ROI, now I'm interested. Number 2 is risk. Risk. And I'll tell you how I analyze risk. I perceive risk in the following. How good of a deal did you get on this purchase price? That's it. I want to know the underlying equity in the deal. I want to know how much real, tangible, intrinsic value do I have in this property. So I'm going to make an assumption and say that that property is worth $100,000 FMV. This is the number I want you to write down. Fair market value. Now, how do you determine that? You take 3 comparables. 3 comparable sales. So I want you to find 3 other properties in the same neighborhood as the subject property and the same condition as the subject property that sold within the last 3 to 6 months. I want you to take those 3 numbers and I want you to write them on a sheet of paper, and let's say, for example, that these properties, one of them sold for $98, one of them sold for $110, one of them sold for $105,000. If I'm going to take those 3 numbers, I'm going to do one of 3 things or one of 2 things as a lender. I'm either going to take the lowest comparable, because I want the lowest risk, or I'm going to take the average, the weighted average between all 3 of those. So rough math is going to say that somewhere between, let's say, about 102 to 105,000. So this property, let's just say it's worth 100. That's the fair market value based on the comps. All I want to know is, what are you buying it for? That's it. If you come to me and said, hey, I'm buying it for 80, it's worth 100, just do this math for me. I'm capturing $20,000 of equity. Now, if you're buying a property off market, or you know what you're doing as an investor, you will never pay full price. If you bring me a deal with 0 equity because you're paying full price or over fair market value, I do not want to fund it. Not unless you're putting a huge down payment on the property, because I don't want the risk. The greatest concern a lender has is this: I'm a passive lender. My job is to lend the money in the deal. Your job as the active partner is to take that money and make more money with it. If I have to take on the risk that I have to then go and take the deal and do the work myself, I do not need you. Make sense? So ROI, risk. So I need you to tell me, what am I going to make? What is the actual equity? So you have 20,000 of equity, okay? All right, number 3, real easy, okay? You can send me pictures of the property so I have a general idea. Pictures are all I need. I don't need an explanation. I don't need a whole bunch of things. Just shoot me some pics. Is it a brand new, side-by-side, semi-detached property that's in great shape? Or is it the biggest POS in the area that's just falling apart? I just need that real quick. Number 4, if you're gonna do a rehab on it or a reno, I need a very, very simple, easy to understand reno budget. That's it. Ideally, a nice home inspection would help, but most people don't bother to send that far, okay? So these are the metrics that I need to make a decision. And then the last thing I need to know, real easy, is why you? Why you? Why you instead of the other guy? And I'll tell you where this comes from. I like lending to people that, if they had to, would get a 2nd and 3rd job at McDonald's to make this mortgage payment. You understand? Because I don't want to do the work for you. But you could literally break this up into one sheet with a couple pictures, send it to me. But if you're looking for money as a lender, I do not want to do this for you. So if you get this, and this right, good chance you're getting a deal. Here's the crazy part. You don't even know how good of a deal you could possibly get. I just funded a deal recently for a guy, Danny, who's in a Cashflow Tribe plug. Okay? In Cashflow Tribe, Danny had never bought a deal before, but he was a contractor. Well, Danny went out and found this property, but his limiting belief was thinking that he had to use bank financing to get a deal done. So once he realized that, hey, I've got money, I can get it from Ben Humble CEO, he actually did this for me. And guess what? Over the course of 2 or 3 emails, he got approved. And guess how much I gave him? I gave him 100% financing. Because he was able to prove 2 things to me that I really care about. And those 2 things are, dun dun dun, confidence and competence. And if you can prove those 2 things, you can get a private lender's money. So write a book report, get this information, and if you want my time or energy, come join me at Cashflow Tribe, and let's make this happen. Your future's waiting on you. See you soon.
Cashflow Tribe.
What's up guys, Matt here. Have you ever wanted to do wholesaling? Have you ever wanted to go all in on real estate investing? Well, I've heard your demands from the comment section on my YouTube video, and we're looking to hire more people to join our team. Now this is going to be a unique opportunity. You're going to need to fit outside of the traditional mold, but if you're willing to go all in on real estate investing, learn everything and do everything necessary to become a successful wholesaler, and you're willing to move to London, Ontario, and move into one of the mansions with me, well, let's do it. So we've got a process for you guys to be able to join our team of wholesalers. Right now, I have 7 full-time wholesalers working for me in southwestern Ontario, but we actually want to grow the team even more, a lot more in fact. But the requirements are you need to be willing to go all in. So no other jobs, no side hustles, no other personal commitments. You just need to be laser-like focused on real estate and learning and personal development, because that's what this mansion's all about. In addition, you need to be willing to move to London, Ontario. I don't care where you currently live, but you need to be willing to move to London, Ontario. You need to be eligible to work in Ontario, all that good stuff. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. We're just looking for really dedicated, really hungry individuals that want to join our team. If you want to apply, send us an email, clickWholesaling@gmail.com. You're probably going to spell click wrong, so we're throwing it up here on the screen. We'll also have a link in the video description down below. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, guys. You've seen the evolution of Adam Martin from my team over the years. He joined us back in 2018, and he knew nothing about real estate investing. He'd never made an offer, never bought real estate, never made a dollar off of real estate, and today he's absolutely crushing it. I know there's a lot of people that aspire to be the next Adam Martin. As well, you've seen the evolution of Mike and Shahir from my team and how they've grown as individuals and wholesalers as well. In fact, we've even got a whole new crop of wholesalers that you really haven't seen yet on the YouTube channel, but they'll be coming soon to a video on your news feed. But beyond that, we need more wholesalers. This is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you're serious about going all in on wholesaling real estate, I need you to join my team. Click the link down below, send us an email, and I look forward to chatting.
Hey Humble, how do you get all those sweet deals, man? How do you get all those off-market properties? So today I'd like to break down some of this stuff for you and really just help you understand better. So grab a pen and paper, start writing some stuff down, and let's really go through piece by piece into a tactical nuts and bolts kind of thing, right? So the first tip is this. Ding! I want you to learn your market. Learn the areas that you really want to invest in. Know the ARV, that's the after repair value, and figure out this is the property or the pocket. So in my town, I have a little village east of us called Little River Village, and that is my center. I buy a lot of properties there. They created 600 homes and they built them about 30-40 years ago. I've already bought 60 of those properties. So I'm in that market all the time. I know where I want to buy. So the first thing you can do is get into your local real estate market and figure out, where do I want to buy? And where are my buyers, where are my sellers, and all that kind of thing. Now, if you don't know where to start with that, here's what you can do in a hot market. Find out, where are the investors buying? So go to a local real estate meetup group and ask them, where are you guys looking to buy and what would you pay? You can reverse engineer most of this stuff by just thinking about it backwards. So if somebody in your market says, hey, I want to buy in this pocket or in this neighborhood, I'm willing to pay $100,000, then your job is to find deals in that section for less than $100,000. The less that you pay for those properties, the more money you're going to make. So let's talk about some off-market things. What's the best marketing channel? What's the best ROI? I get this question a lot. What is the best channel? And folks, there is no best channel, because one of these is working for somebody somewhere. If it's not working for you, it's because you just haven't figured it out. That's really what it is. And you haven't gone deep enough on that one channel. A lot of us, we want to go very wide and cast a wide net instead of going super deep in one market. I would rather you go super deep, get focused on one channel, split test it, figure out what doesn't work about it, and keep going. So it's kind of nerve-wracking. It's like a relationship. You got to keep staying on top of it. Keep going, keep going. The more consistent you are, the more happy your marriage is going to be. Simple, right? Okay, so the next question, let's start with this. How much should you spend? This is a tough question. Just because somebody spends more than you doesn't mean they're going to get a better response than you're going to get. Marketing for off-market deals is kind of twofold. You can spend money or spend time. You can either get out in the community, leverage yourself, leverage your relationships, which I recommend everybody do, especially at the beginning, is really get out there and really let people know that you're buying. There's nothing worse than somebody who's spending money on marketing but nobody knows that you're a buyer of real estate deals because you haven't gone out to the local meetup groups, you haven't joined a company like Tribe and told everybody that, hey, I'm buying deals. So if you really get out there, put yourself out there, create a YouTube channel, create some awareness around what you're doing, that's going to be huge for you. How much did you spend? Listen, this is a business. A lot of people treat this like a hobby. It is not. It's not MLM. This is a real viable business. So you have to create a budget that you can afford, start with that, and keep going. So you can start literally with $1,000 and a lot of hustle. With $1,000 a month, you can do some of these things, and we'll break it down in a second. It can go a long way. Now keep in mind, in a wholesale deal, you have to have a minimum ROI on this stuff. You can't just go in for a $500 wholesale profit fee because you're going to set yourself up for failure. So on my end, if I'm not getting at least $10,000, I'm not buying the property. So change the way you think about wholesaling. You see, I'm not going out to just find a wholesale deal, find a contract and sell the contract. I'm an investor. I'm fully prepared to take the deal down, to execute the deal, to go all the way through, buy it, fix it, flip it, and sell it. So for me, wholesaling is a reverse flipping strategy. Does that make sense? Maybe not. I know it's a little bit tricky, so let me explain. I'm willing to buy the property, close on the property, do the rehab, spend the money, and then flip the property. If I can make sense of that entire transition, then I can make sense removing pieces from that process and just wholesaling. That way I never overpay for a deal. You see, other people, what they do, they try to get a contract and just sell the contract, but then they like squeeze these little micro thin profit margins because they never would really close on the deal anyways. So if you want to avoid some nonsense, if you want to avoid RECO, Real Estate Council of Ontario, if you want to avoid any of the legal issues, then be fully prepared to close on the deal and take possession. Now for some of you guys, you're like, oh crap, now I got to go raise money. Yes, you do. I fully believe that you should raise money and have it available for your deals. If you don't know where to raise money, ting, Cashflow Tribe. We've got a fund where you can raise money and do deals. If you go into every deal fully prepared to close on the deal, then guess what? Finding a cash buyer is no longer an issue. You see, a very common problem with wholesalers is that once I get the deal into contract, where do I find my cash buyers? You're creating a constraint for yourself because you don't have the money to close. Well, where can you find the most amount of cash buyers? Anybody want to guess? The MLS. That rhymed. So the MLS has all the cash buyers you can need. So your job shouldn't be, I need to go find cash buyers. Your job should be, I need to be able to raise money and close the deal. But to raise money and close the deal, then you got to get the right deal. You can't afford to overpay for this stuff. Does that make sense? So shoot for at least a $10,000 wholesale fee. What I like to do is $10,000 for wholesale, $20,000 if I have to double close the deal, and then $30,000 if I have to actually spend any money on rehab and sell it. So I need to be able to have those profit margins locked up. Think about it this way too. If you want to wholesale it to the next person, you have to give them enough value. So they need to be able to take that property, do the work that you were going to do, fix it and make a profit. If you don't leave any money on the table for the next person, then it's really never going to sell. It's not going to be a good deal. So spend $1,000, spend your effort, or spend $2,000, spend your effort. Some people are spending a lot more than that. Some of my budgets have run anywhere from $5,000 a month. One month we had $80,000 in marketing. But we're in 4 or 5 different cities. So you got to decide what's right for you, and I don't want you to compare your journey to my journey because it's different, it's not the same, right? So let's get into some of these different marketing and lead generation strategies. So one of the big ones, this is the cheapest thing you can do, is go through what we call guerrilla marketing. Not that guerrilla warfare marketing. This is the hustle, this is the grind, right? That wasn't even a gorilla, that was more of a monkey, but I'm not good at noises. So let's go with this. Guerrilla marketing tactics. These are gonna be the tactics that you get out there and you're just exerting your own physical effort to go find leads. Your job isn't to close with these things, your job is to start a conversation. It might be the middle finger, but it's a conversation. Okay, so let's move on here. We got 2 kind of main sources of marketing lead generation tools. We've got analog and we've got digital. Let me say this, they're both very relevant. One isn't greater than the other. In fact, one works better than the other sometimes, and then it switches. So let's talk about some of the analog things. Okay, digital, okay? This is the new thing. This is everything. Everybody wants this. This is cool. This is hype. This is exciting. This is energetic. This is just as good as this. It's the same thing as long as you stay focused and consistent. There's a lot of different options here. So what do? Start small. Pick one. figure out how much you want to spend, do the guerrilla marketing stuff, really analyze this stuff and do it consistently. Write it down on a piece of paper, open up an Excel spreadsheet and go boom, boom every day, track your steps. If you take this as seriously as you take lifting weights and tracking your macros and tracking your exercises and your weight reps, then you'll do great. If you do this one time and then you stop, you're not going to make it happen. What I would encourage you to do is, if you want more information like this, head over to cashflowtribecanada.com. Make sure you join our group, our conversations, our Facebook groups, and come to the next boot camp where we break down this stuff. And you know what? I know it seems complicated, but it's not as hard as you think it is. It is possible to do wholesale deals in Canada. In fact, my first year doing this strategy, I made over $750,000. It's no lie, real deals, but I was focused, I was invested, and I was willing to push myself and grow. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for checking this out, and I hope you got a lot of value. Make sure you hit that smash button, subscribe, and share. Take care and stay humble.
I'm sitting down with Ben, Humble CEO.
What's going on?
And in this video, we're going to discuss how he's done 181 deals, over $21 million in non-bank financing. It's even hard for me to even say these numbers. They're so massive, but we're going to dive into all the details in this video. You guys need to stay tuned.
Let's get it. Let's go.
We dropped a lot of numbers in that intro, Ben. So I'd love to give some context first behind the 181 properties, you know, the $21 million in non-bank financing. So first of all, before we even get into those details, like how old are you currently and when did you start with real estate?
So I'm 34 years old. I started back when I was 21. I was working for a small cleaning company and I realized, like, I don't want to do this. It was like the first job I really had when I was in my early 20s, and I said, that's not me. I'm out of this game. And I came across Rich Dad Poor Dad and I was like, yep, real estate. So that's when I finally got the bug, decided to jump in the game, read Rich Dad Poor Dad the book, and I was hooked.
Love it. And so from the start, were you already doing creative financing, or how did that all come about?
Well, I wanted to ever since I read the book OPM, Other People's Money. And after reading that book, it kind of opened up my eyes that I don't need bank financing to do deals. I just need to find people that have got access to bank financing. So really reading that book, I realized that there was a lot more opportunity out there for doing deals without cash, because I just, out of necessity, I didn't have the capital. I didn't have the money, I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the balance sheet, I didn't have the credit, so I had to find better ways to do real estate deals. And I heard from some people that it was possible. Other people said, hey, those money down strategies don't work anymore. And I just decided to pursue it on my own and see if it was truthful or not. Could I really build a portfolio, build a fortune without having to rely on the bank?
Yeah, and so I know there's a lot of audience members that are wondering that themselves as well. So let's get that question right out of the way now. Can they still do it today, or could you only do it in the past when you started?
The answer, the long and short answer is you can absolutely buy real estate without bank financing. Absolutely, 100%.
I love dispelling that myth, because there's a lot of people that think that that only worked in the 80s or the 90s or even the early aughts, and it's like, no, there's always been opportunities for us to creative finance and go outside of the banking system in order to make our deals happen.
Yeah, I think the big reason for that is a lot of people focus on strategy in real estate, and for me, I'm mindset before strategy. If you've got the right mindset about how money is actually created, formed, used, and you understand that flow, then you realize that strategy is just an offset of the mindset. So if you know how to use it and you've got the right mindset, then you can apply it to multiple strategies. So whether it's multifamily, single family, mortgages, a whole host of things that I've done. It's really about understanding what your options are before looking for a strategic way to implement things that you really don't understand.
Gotcha.
So that's where the confusion comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you mind breaking down for the audience, what are the options available to them right now that maybe they don't know about or misunderstand?
Sure. Yeah, so we'll just get into the limiting beliefs. I think that's what the biggest thing is.
Agreed.
So limiting internal beliefs primarily about what's possible and what's not possible. So a lot of people, their truth is based on other people's opinions that may or may have not done what they hope to accomplish. So the challenge with that is you've got your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your realtor saying you can't buy real estate this way, but the truth is they've never bought real estate that way. So there's a difference between advice and counsel.
That's a great point. That's huge, man. I love that.
Yeah, and I think I've learned this from my mentor, that only really listen to people who can provide you with strong counsel, not advice. Counsel means this is a person who's done what I aspire to do. They know exactly what the limitations are, but they also know that it's possible and they know how to get there. Advice is free. Everybody has an opinion,
Yes.
right? And although their opinion is valid to them, it may not be applicable to you. So the first thing you got to realize is that the people you're talking to probably don't have the answer. So it's like you're in school and you want to know the answer to a math test. Well, you can ask your teacher and get counsel because they know the problem solving probability or the way to do it, or you can ask your schoolmate next to you. Does he have the answer? Probably not. Does he even know the answer? Probably not, but he can talk about it. So it comes back the same way. So find somebody, number one, who knows how to do this business and really ask them, is it possible? I didn't have a mentor like that really when I started, so I had to get that information through books, through courses, and every time I went to a no money down seminar, instead of being a pessimist, instead of being glass half empty, I was glass half full. So I would say, how can I do this? Because we all hear the same things, that no, it's not possible, that was an 80s thing or a 90s thing, or it doesn't work after the bubble. But the truth is, you got to ask a different question. How can it work now?
Yes.
So the answer is, it's definitely possible, even though the strategy might change a little bit. With every time that the market changes and the strategy changes, the opportunity also changes. So it actually becomes easier the more you understand it. And people think that it's hard. It truly isn't that hard. Doing the first deal is hard. Once you've done one, you can do many.
I love that perspective because I don't think very many investors start off realizing the importance of mindset.
Yeah.
And the way you frame that's just so important, because it's a way I respond to a lot of, you know, people that DM me on social media now when they're like, you can't do this in my city. And these days I'm just like, okay, you're right with that opinion. And because like they've closed themselves off to the information from people that are actually doing it rather than just taking advice from people that have opinions. Like, I think that that's a huge distinction. I love that.
Mindset is 80% of business. 80%. And I'm not going to downplay that number, because truly if you have the right abundance mindset and you're really pursuing, you know, this ability, you know, to understand, comprehend, and apply the information, you can do so much more because you're miles ahead up here. Too many people want to play this game and they only focus on the strategy or the tactical side of it before figuring out the mindset piece. And the reason why I'm really touching on this topic is because I know that most people suffer in this area. They come to me and say, hey Ben, I'd love to do what you did, but it's not possible. Not possible in my city, not possible in my family, not possible because I have this limitation, not possible because I have that limitation. And the answer is, you're right. If you truly believe you can't because you have a limitation, the result is you can't either. So unless you're willing to believe it first and live through faith that it is possible and that somebody knows something that you don't, you're never going to get there. So my thing that I come back to is, I just know that there's things I don't know. I know I'm ignorant, right, in that sense. And unless I stay in that mindset, I'm not going to be willing to ask other people for help, ask other people for counsel. I'm just going to assume I know it all. So the biggest problem with real estate investors is that they just think they know it all. They've taken a course, they've gone to a seminar, and they're like, I have the information and it doesn't work. The truth is, you just don't have the right information, or you don't have the right mindset about that information.
Love it. So let's take this a bit more into the practical now. So what does 181 properties or deals, like, how do you actually grow to that size? Like, how do you actually manage that volume?
Yeah, so the answer is one at a time. For me, I'm all about speed with real estate deals because I recognize that markets shift. They go up, down, and sideways. I was fortunate that I came into the market at a time just before it collapsed in 2008. So being 34 years old, not 24 years old, I've been able to see the down. I think unfortunately today a lot of investors, the younger ones, have only seen the climb up, and they don't recognize what the climb down looks like. They don't recognize what the signals of stagnation or the signals of speculation look like because they've only seen that upward tick. So being fortunate, I was able to see it go up, and I was able to watch all the negative factors that happen when the market go down. So the biggest thing was, how do you do 181 deals? You watch the market go down, you recognize there's a massive opportunity, which is what happened to me. So the first deal was actually a duplex I lived in. I was living at home in my parents' basement, and I house hacked. I house hacked before it was even called house hacking, right? I was just looking for a way, asking again, how? I'm very abundance thinking. Maybe even overly optimistic, but I'd rather be an overly optimistic than be a pessimist. So I'm like, how do I move into my own property? I didn't have the credit, I didn't have the cash, I didn't have a lot of these resources. So there was no conventional ways of doing it, so I had to get unconventional. So I went seeking, right? Read the books. And the first opportunity was I found a mortgage broker through a local group. So I joined a local BNI, business networking group.
Yep.
I had a janitorial business at the time, so I was cleaning carpets every day. Boom, 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 cleaning carpets. And I thought, okay, how do I get into real estate? I find this guy and he says, hey, I've got a property. I've purchased it. I did a rehab on the home, but I don't want to keep it as a rental. I'm looking to sell that property. I said, great, I'll buy it right now. Being the over-optimist that I am, I said, the only one small problem is I don't have any money. And he looks at me, he says, that's fine. I said, oh, really? Yeah. He said, yeah, you're one of those rich dad guys. I said, yeah, I am one of those rich dad guys. He said, me too. So I said, how can we do this deal? He said, well, I can give you financing. I'll need you to put something down, though. He said, it was a $127,000 purchase on this duplex. He said, if you put $7,000 down, I can get you a mortgage for $120,000. No problem. The only question was, where do I get $7,000 from, right? So I actually went back, and I went back to my credit cards. And I recognized the value of using OPM, other people's money, because of Kiyosaki's book. So I said, if I can get $7,000 from my credit cards, if I can get $120,000 from him, then I can buy this property. And I did the math, and by the time I got the cash flow from the tenant living downstairs, I could live upstairs, and I'd be spending about $156 a month plus utilities.
That's so powerful, right? For your personal finances to be in that situation with house hacking.
Yeah, it was amazing because I was, number one, it gave me a massive confidence boost because I was able to move into my own property. And number two, I realized that it was possible.
My name is Alex Solga, and I joined the January boot camp in 2020, and I joined council that weekend.
My name's Allison Kazoo, and I've been in Cash Flow Tribe since November when it started.
So I go by Mark Smith. I've been part of Cashflow Tribe since January of 2020.
So Dwayne Becker, I've been in Cashflow Tribe since March of 2020, so what, about 6 months?
It was a hard road before Cash Flow Tribe, and I was in it alone. I didn't know any other investors until last summer, and I was miserable, I was broke, I hated my life. It would have been better to be in prison.
I was put in a box and I wasn't alive. I didn't feel, I always said that I didn't feel.
Thought I could do it on my own, a life full of scarcity, just bad environments. Tried to do it by myself because that's what I thought the nobility was. And yeah, I hit barriers and my mindset was completely shattered.
My entire adult life, I knew that what I was doing was not what I wanted, where I wanted to be. And Cashflow Tribe is a community of people that I've really been looking for a very long time.
I never had money. I was always maxed out on debt. I hated my life. It was horrible. And so realizing that there's other people that I can partner with, and that partnering isn't actually a bad thing, but it's a good thing. And that I can make more money partnering and not just giving away half my profits all the time. So just a different way to look at doing business was everything to me.
How real it was. There was no bullshit. There's other courses out there, there's other groups out there, and they're out there telling you what you want to hear. And the difference here was we actually had someone like Ben that was like allies that basically said, no, we're not going to give you the participation ribbon just for showing up. You got to earn your right to be here. And that's what it was. That's what exactly the type of accountability I was looking for.
So my big why is I want to live full out. Set a good example for my kids because they're for a number of years I've been kind of a watered down version of myself, and I want to prove that life can be what you make it.
So since joining Cashflow Tribe, honestly, my life has completely changed. It has saved me. In terms of monetary, I got 2 checks this past week from our first properties that have closed since joining council for $145,000 that went into the bank. So phenomenal. My husband has left his job. He's happy.
This year, I'm doing 7 flips, and I bought 4 properties, which is 2 triplexes and 2 fourplexes. Basically stress-free, using other people's resources, building relationships. It was just that different mindset on actually how to build a business. That was massive for me.
That this is by far and away the best investment that they could possibly make in their future.
So since joining Cashflow Tribe, I'm a completely different person. You know, I have a hard time looking at my old pictures actually, because that's a person I completely detested. That's not someone I want to do anything with now.
Cashflow has saved my life. You know, last year was the worst year of my life, then this year has been the best year. So I'm not going anywhere. And we're just doing more business now.
I have not gone back to teaching this September. It's just, there's so many pluses. This could be a very long video if I went through all of them.
So everything from my purpose, finding my purpose, looking for my purpose, so taking care of my mind. 3 is my relationships, really focusing on my relationships. I mean, I'm reading a book every 10 days right now.
Oh, that first big check was just incredible. My husband sat there staring at the check for the longest time, like literally 20 minutes to half an hour.
Tons of strategies, and definitely that is all part and parcel of Cashflow Tribe, but learn more life skills. Learn how to build habits.
It's a hard, lonely road on your own, which is why it's so helpful to be a part of something like this.
Cashflow Tribe is for everyone, first of all. But if no one's willing to hold themselves accountable, and they're expecting to fish and not being taught how to fish, this is not the right tribe from them, plain and simple. But if those that want to level up and take their skilling and turn it into a floor, these are the people we want in Cashflow Tribe. This is nothing like any real estate event. I can promise you that. Because it's not just real estate. This is real life shit. We're not here to give you fish. We're here to show you how to fish. You guys have heard of that analogy, right? Because this is a complete disservice if we're just giving you the fish.
Be specific, what are you going to do? I will retire my mom, I will have 12 properties, and I will get my first wholesale deal in the next 2 months. Hi guys, my name's Marshall. My goal is to really grow my real estate business. Cashflow Tribe seems to be the way to help. Cashflow Tribe!
You probably have your own versions of people trying to pull you into their reality rather than pushing or promoting the reality you're choosing to live in. And to me, if you don't understand your why, it's so difficult on Monday morning when you get back into your normal world to be able to go against that friction. I knew that getting control of my financial life meant that I'd be in control of every aspect of my life.
I lived 43 years of my life as a debt man, because I lived in pain and regret. Until I came to this event, finally alive. Like, I'm rich. I'm richer than everybody around me. Why? I may have less around me from a material standpoint, but I'm rich inside. Because I found my tribe. Cashflow Tribe!
And I'm learning actually how to build a business for people how to build businesses. Right? I'm not stressed out. I'm happy. My wife's happy. My kids are happy. I'm not broke anymore. Life is good.
This is the room. This is where it ends and begins from. I'm happy to get to this room. We all have a very similar journey. We've all tried and failed, So when I just come to this room and you guys are here and I get to hear these stories and know that I had a part of it, I'm good.
All right, YouTube, that's it for the compilation video with Ben. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. But I mean, wow. It's pretty crazy to see just how we all evolve over time. And so it's amazing to see Ben's evolution, my evolution, and just our relationship and the eventual business evolution with Cashflow Tribe. So again, quick reminder, link to Cashflow Tribe in the video description down below. But let me know, what did you think? What do you think of Ben's evolution? What do you think of my evolution in this video? And let us know, who else should we be doing compilation videos of next? Jump in that comment section, let me know. But a reminder, your network is your net worth. That's why I go out and do all these networking events, is so that I can meet people like Ben and build relationships with people like Ben. So you guys need to get out there and do more networking. It's one of the reasons we created Cashflow Tribe.